What would your life be like if you had access to the proper pain management treatment? Hi, I'm Ingrid Kitty Trim, founder and executive director of Part Texas and Part USA.
And I'm James Scott Trim, president of Part Texas and Part USA.
For years now, patients across this country have been dealing with something that just doesn't make sense. Medications they rely on, medications that have been part of their treatment plans for years, are suddenly harder to access. Prescriptions go unfilled, pharmacies run out, and people are told it's a shortage. But when you really look at what's happening, it's not a shortage in the way people think. The medication exists, the ability to produce it exists. What's actually happening is that the supply is being limited.
And when that supply is limited, it creates a situation where even when doctors want to treat their patients, they're being forced to second guess every decision. They're looking over their shoulder, worried about consequences that have nothing to do with the patient sitting in front of them. At the same time, pharmacists can't get the medication, and treatment plans that were working, sometimes for years, start to fall apart. And the people who end up carrying the weight of that are the patients. They're the ones trying to understand why something stable suddenly isn't available anymore. They're the ones dealing with what that turns into, which is uncontrolled pain, withdrawal, or even worse.
And there is a worse. I know there is, because I've been right there on the edge of it myself. This isn't something you read about or move on from. This is something people are living through every single day. People who were stable, people who were doing everything right, people who are just trying to live their lives, suddenly have that taken away from them. And it's not because the medicine disappeared.
It's because supply is being controlled at a level that has nothing to do with actual patient care. Instead of letting medicine be guided by doctors and real need, it's being treated like a law enforcement issue. And when that happens, you don't just regulate supply, you create a bottleneck that patients end up trapped behind.
And that's the problem this bill actually solves. Not creating something new, fixing something that is already broken. This idea didn't come out of nowhere. Texas has already taken steps in other areas to say if something is made here and it stays here, then Texas has the authority to regulate it.
And just as important, Texas does not have to help federal police enforce federal policies that harm its own people. That principle is what led to this bill. And it's important to understand why Texas can actually do this, because this isn't just an idea, it's grounded in how the system is set up. The federal government's authority to place manufacturing limits comes from the Interstate Commerce Clause, which gives them the ability to regulate things that move between states. But that authority is tied to interstate commerce, meaning things that cross state lines.
And that's the brilliance of this bill. If medication is manufactured in Texas, stays in Texas, and is used by Texas patients, then it does not fall under interstate commerce.
It becomes intrastate, completely within the state, and that means Texas has the authority to regulate it.
And we've already seen this model used before. Texas has passed laws applying the same principle to other types of manufacturing, and other states have done similar things in
Mm.
areas like marijuana, where production and use are kept entirely within state borders.
So this isn't untested. It's a framework that's already been used in other areas.
And that's why this doesn't
Mm.
stop with Texas. Texas can lead on this, but this model can be used in other states as well because they have already have the foundation to do it. This isn't just about changing what allows medically. It's about removing a limit that's been placed on how much can be produced in the first place. Right now, supply is artificially capped, and that cap doesn't reflect real patient need.
So instead of supply being restricted at a national level, this allows supply to actually respond to the demand inside the state. Medication is produced in Texas, it stays in Texas, and it goes to Texas patients.
And that means supply stays where the need actually is. And that alone changes everything.
And this is where lawmakers really need to pay attention because this isn't about just about healthcare anymore. This creates something valuable for the state.
When medications are produced here in Texas, that means jobs are created here. Manufacturing, distribution, facilities, all of that stays inside the state.
And instead of relying on overseas production or federal limits controlling supply, Texas controls its own supply.
And when people are able to work again, they're spending money again. That supports restaurants, grocery stores, and local businesses. It creates a ripple effect that strengthens the entire state. This is a win for the state, and it's a win for lawmakers. And there's something else that it does that matters just as much, if not more. And it's the part people don't talk about enough. When people finally have access to the care they need, they don't just survive, they start living again. They get a sense of purpose back, a sense of worth, a reason to get up in the morning and actually be a part of life again. Their mental health improves because they no longer are living in constant fear, wondering if they're going to be in pain next month, or if a doctor will even be able to help them. That anxiety starts to lift and it's replaced with something else. The feeling of, I'm going to be okay today. I can live again. I can work. I can clean my home. I can go out with friends and family. I can be more of myself again. Pain is no longer ruling their lives.
And that's what this bill fixes. It gives people the chance to get that part of their life back. The bill is focused on one thing: ending an artificial shortage that never should have existed.
It doesn't add more red tape. It removes a barrier that's been standing between patients and the care they already depend on. It's not about expanding anything. It's about restoring access that should have never been taken away in the first place.
And putting supply back where it belongs, in line with real demand.
So doctors can treat their patients and patients can get the medications they need without interference that has nothing to do with medicine. And when you have a solution that helps patients, strengthens the economy, creates jobs, and gives people a real chance to live their lives again, giving them back their sense of worth and purpose, that's not just an idea. That's something worth moving forward. And the beauty of it is, it isn't just about Texas. This is a blueprint, a way forward that other states can look at and say, this works. At some point in life, every one of us will experience pain. And knowing that if that time comes, you have access to the care that helps you, that matters. That's what this is really about, the ability to make decisions about your own care with the doctor you trust. Doctors didn't go into medicine to be second guessed or to be told they can't treat their patients. They went into medicine to help, to heal, and to do what's right. Let them do their job. Let patients have what they need. The solution is so simple. It's time to break the bottleneck and get back to living the way we were meant to, a world where pain doesn't rule our lives anymore. If you would like more information or to read the bill in its full entirety, please visit http://parttexas.com/advocacy. There you will find the full bill that has been written and an article that explains this in full detail. We hope this brings hope and we hope this brings change. It's a win win for lawmakers, the state, and especially for patients.